Good morning, bienvenue, and welcome to Montreal. I've been here for the last few days for the Raymond James Global Top Advisor Conference, which every other year they bring together the top 50 advisors, well, roughly 50 advisors from the Canada, the United States, and the UK. There's about 8,000 or 9,000 of us, so it's pretty much the top half of 1%. So 2 years ago we were in Manhattan. I did a video then, and now we're in Montreal, so it's nice to have everyone come and visit our country. So we had a number of presentations. It's like one long TED Talk, and the firm does a great job of bringing a really eclectic and interesting array of speakers for us. We had futurists, we had people explaining AI and where we think that's going to go. We had economists, we had strategists. We had quite a full plate. I'll be sharing all the information and the presentations with the team so we can really get a good sense of where do we think we are. And it's very important we have these conversations right now, because if you haven't noticed, the world's a little bit weird. And I'll comment a little bit when Christian and I do our quarterly update, which we're going to be recording on Monday, about kind of where we think we are and what the data is kind of telling us. The one thing I will say is, and I mentioned this in my video a little while ago, and it turns out I'm right, everybody just needs to settle down a little bit and be like water. As we saw, President Trump, as soon as the market had a really strong correction, he backed off, and who's got a tariff, who doesn't have a tariff. I think in some ways Canada came off a little bit easier than we originally thought. We still have some tariffs to contend with, but not nearly as bad as it looked like it could have been at the very beginning. So I know people are vibrating a lot and trying to predict a lot, but if there's one thing we can really understand and agree on, it's that President Trump is highly unpredictable. So I think we just keep our wits about us and recognize that the volatility is going to continue. And let's remember, we've been through things like this before. It's always a bit different in the details, but in the grand scheme of things, what we want to do is just keep focused on our strategy, keep looking at those trends that we believe are highly persistent. And actually, we're getting opportunities now to buy some wonderful companies that have all been thrown out because everybody's terrified. So in markets like this, it's actually where great investors really do their best work. And I think we're trying to keep doing that. We also have another interesting thing happening in Canada. As you know, we had the French language debates last night, and we've got the English language debates tonight as I record this, as tomorrow's Good Friday, and I want to wish everyone a happy Easter. And I hope for those who celebrate Passover, they had a good time with their families and enjoyed that time of the year for them. I've been really careful to not talk a lot about politics and things, because it's obviously highly charged and everyone's got a different view and opinion. But I will make this comment, because obviously we're in the markets and we work with people's wealth, and I think Canadians are really going to have to make a pretty important decision here on what exactly is it we want for our future. It looked like when we were trying to judging the current government on their record, when Prime Minister Trudeau was in power, it looked like it was pretty clear what Canadians thought about that record. But now that they've got a new leader, I think Canadians have to decide, well, it might be the same team, but they got a new captain. Is that the way forward? Or do we really just want to completely change things? Now, the data is pretty clear. The last decade has not been great, and I think if we get more of the same from either party, it's going to be a disaster. So I think Canadians, as I say, really have to figure out what is going to be the right path forward, because I would argue that we're at a very, very critical point, and if we don't see some opportunities and maybe quit some of the things we've been doing, we're going to be in big trouble. We just frankly can't afford another 10 years of people not really paying attention to the economics and really creating policies that haven't led us to a good place. So, and by the way, all the data agrees with me, so this isn't really a political opinion. If you just look at how much debt we have, what housing has done, all kinds of other data points, we can't really do this again for another decade. So we do have to make changes, and it's really, what are those changes going to be? And you get to decide. So please remember to go out and vote, listen carefully to the candidates, really do your job as a citizen to make an informed choice. And you'll make your choice based on what you believe the right factors are. I'll make mine, and hopefully all together we'll make a good decision. So I'm going to leave it that, leave my political comments there. And I just also want to let you know that the team is very focused on what we're doing. We moved into the new office. The rest of the furniture should arrive in the next week or two, so I can give you a bit of a tour once all that's done and settled in. We've got a new staff member joining us on May the 1st. We have a summer student joining us on May the 5th, I think. So a lot of great things that have been happening, and it's also been fantastic to network with some of my colleagues, some of the highest performing advisors around the world, and just share ideas and thoughts about how are they doing what they're doing, how are they looking after their clients, and making sure that the relationships they have, they're adding as much value as they can. So I came away with a couple of good ideas to share with the team, and we'll be implementing those as the next few weeks roll in. So with that, it's very cold out here. I don't know where the heck spring is, but it's certainly not in Montreal at the moment. So with that, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Have a great Easter. Bye.